We discussed somewhat recently MAGA podcaster, MAGA celebrity, however you want to describe her, Candace Owens. And that caused me to come across, because we prepped that segment, a different clip of her that really is a fascinating one. So I'm going to show you her, again, this MAGA figure, defining herself, I guess is sort of, to put it simply, flat earth curious, not super flat earth, but she says that she's also not round earth. She's just kind of doing her little special thing in the middle. And then we'll go back to a different interesting flat earther that we covered before and look at some people responding to Candace Owens. But first, here's this. I promise this is not me just going, look, about the views. I want to more talk about why this is happening seemingly more often. Why it feels like more people in your life are just bringing up bizarre things like this. There is a reason for that. That's what we'll get into. That's a deeper point. But first, let's just have a little giggle.
Guys, imagine being married to me. My poor husband, he rolls over. He's like, "What are you reading?" And I feel like a regular wife says something, I don't know, maybe a love series, Nora Roberts, sweeping her away. Me, on the other hand, he rolled over, he asked me, and I said, "Oh, I'm reading a flat earth theory." And it dawned into an entire conversation. He's like, why are you reading a flat earth theory? And I'm like, because somebody messaged me on Connect about it and they included some links and I'm just reading them. I don't know. I'm just an interested person. No matter what, if there's a bunch of people that believe something, I now want to know what it is that they believe. And of course, he pushed me on this and he was talking about the earth curvature and science. And I said to him, listen, I'm not a flat earther. I'm not a round earther. Actually, what I am somebody who has left the cult of science. I have left the mega church of science because what I have now realized is that science, what it is actually, if you think about it, is a pagan faith.
Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. We tried to explain this with a Marjorie Green clip one time. That when they pretend like science is sort of a religious belief, it proves that they're just gone, okay? They're just not tapping into the facts on this. When we refer to science, we're talking about the scientific method, empirically understanding the world. And that progresses and we learn more. And then you have people who study their whole life to be experts in certain fields to try to observe and understand the world and study the world. But it's not a stagnant belief system based on a religious text or something. It actually challenges people to constantly question, to constantly check, evidentially what is being asserted. So just completely off base there. But there's an underlying point here, which is that for MAGA to prevail, they've had to do a lot of, as we see with Trump on the surface level, that's fake, right? With news, that's fake. And as you go further and further in that, you have to convince people that all of the ordinarily credible sources of information that tell you the COVID-19 vaccine is safe, that tell you injecting bleach maybe not the best idea to get rid of COVID. It'll get rid of it, but it'll get rid of you as well. And then legitimate organizations that bring us a lot of the information that we then use to assess the world, etc. Those credible institution organizations and the processes by which those organizations become known as credible, you have to deteriorate the belief in, right? No, we don't respect that. And these elite intellectuals must just be lying to us because they're telling us that Trump's saying things that aren't factual, for example. And as you just continue to do that, you eventually get to the just as dogmatic belief, if not more, that instead of being blindly in favor of everything the establishment or the powerful, influential, intellectual people assert, instead you're dogmatically opposed to it. You'll just flip around. And that's even more, I mean, you don't want to be dogmatically dedicated to anything like that, but it's so irrational to just say, oh, everything that everyone believes, I just believe the opposite because the establishment. Instead, through processes like the scientific method, or through constantly questioning, diving into, trying to understand empirical data, empirical information, you can create a worldview that then can change as you get more information, but is not reliant on a dogmatic dedication to one particular group, idea, belief system, etc., right? And that seems to be what's happening here, where now conspiracy theories run more wild than they used to, it appears, and people seem to not understand basic ideas in a stunning way because of the, not just MAGA, but I think a lot of it is the Trump era and a little bit before, the everything that is common knowledge that would contradict our narrative has to not be believed in. So now just all of it has to be thrown in the trash. All of our assumptions, including the earth is not flat. In these crazy times, if you appreciate the work that myself and my incredible team do every day to produce the show, by clicking that subscribe button, it's free, it's easy on your end, but it makes a huge difference on our end. So again, if you haven't already, click the subscribe button. Back to the video. Here is Candace Taylor, I think her name is. Let's see here. Yeah, Candace Taylor, who is the Georgia GOP district chair, one of them, saying this.
More and more, I'm like, it doesn't make sense. So is it or not? I don't know 100%, but it's just, it doesn't make sense the other way. Now that you see it.
The people that defend the globe don't know anything about the globe, because if they knew a tenth of what Matt and I know about the globe, they would be flat earthers, because it's absolutely ridiculous.
I can't unsee this. All the globes everywhere. I turn on TV, there's globes in the background. There's globes on there right here. Like this would be a globe if I was a normal person. Like everywhere there's globes. You see them all the time. I mean, it's constant. My children will be like, Mama, globe, 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 globe. They're everywhere. And that's what they do to brainwash. And so for me, if it is not a conspiracy, if it is, real, why are you pushing so hard? Everywhere I go, every store, you buy a globe. There's globes everywhere, every movie, every TV show, news media. Why?
You know when a little kid, and I'm not comparing Candace Taylor to it, I'm just separate thought, okay? You know when a little kid asks you the question why over and over, and there's something beautiful about that, always promoting curiosity, but they can ask why so many times that you're getting to such fundamental ideas that you realize it's almost hard to explain because of how assumed those premises are. So in this case, why are there globes everywhere if they're not pushing a conspiracy? First of all, you're the one who has the burden of proof, Candace, with respect. You're saying there's a conspiracy to brainwash people to like the globe. So you need to explain that. That's an important thing. I did this to a little kid, by the way. They asked me why. I said, you have the burden of proof, child. No. Instead, she should understand that we don't have to bring forward evidence as to why a lot of globes being everywhere in stores and stuff, which I don't notice that often, but okay, is not a conspiracy. You have to prove why it is a conspiracy. You're the one asserting that. Okay. But if I am to answer a question that's kind of a hard one to answer because of Earth, because we live on this planet, so then we're like, hey, look at the planet that we live on. It's cool. And so then we sell stuff like that. Does that resonate, Candace? Let me try a different way. There's something beautiful about seeing from a really far out view that we don't get to see, which is seeing the whole globe. That miracle of existence that we call the Earth. So it's sort of interesting to have a little globe on your desk or a globe keychain. But I don't get how you jump from, I'm seeing globes everywhere. That must be because they're trying to convince us that it's a globe. By the way, let's just go back for a second here. Who and why? Those are some basic questions. And I do want to get to people making fun of Candace Owens in a second. But you're crafting this whole worldview that would require so many people. I'm talking thousands, tens of thousands of people coordinating to keep secret the flat earth, and every single space station, space related organization in every country says we're going to keep secret that it's actually flat, and we're going to send out photos of its spherical thing, shape, and make it look curved. And when that person retires from the space station, we're going to replace it with someone who can also keep that secret. And we're going to send people to space, but whenever they go there, they have to make sure they don't tell anybody. Or maybe they're not being sent to space and they're just actors. All so that... What? What's the benefit there? That's a big conspiracy theory. To do what? I see no benefit. I guess sometimes they say, because if you realize the flat earth, you have to believe in God. I don't connect those dots. I don't get that. How does that make any sense? And why would all of these governments, even governments that are theocratic governments, be on board with that cover-up? Very strange. This is the sort of, when we talk about when everything gets attributed to they want your kids to believe this, and they want the vaccine to be put in your arm so you can be tracked even though you're tracked already. They want you to eat bugs. Who's they? There's so many different competing groups and powerful people pushing for different things. There's not this one world controlling everything and it's two people who are doing it. If you understand anything about how the power struggle works in this world, it seems irrational that you would believe anyone could coordinate cross-globally to cover up such a thing. Wow. Now, people made fun of Candace Owens on X, saying, first this guy saying absolutely no one, and then Candace says, I consider myself a moderate. And I'll say for our podcast listeners that the imagery that shows she's moderate is a partially flat, partially spherical Earth. And her saying, I'm not flat Earth, I'm not round Earth, I'm in the middle. Because it's always good to be in the middle. Then you have someone named Grant saying, let's type science is a cult into a handheld device with 9 billion transistors that gives instantaneous access to a global network of around 140 zettabytes of data and knows your precise position on Earth because the satellite is talking to correct for gravitational time dilation. Right. But she's left the cult of science except for everything in her life that relies on it. Candace's entire shtick is to hijack your attention. She isn't a deep thinker, Matthew says. She isn't sharing profound knowledge. She isn't good at making knowledge more accessible and digestible for her followers. Social media has made it so that people like her can become uber popular and rich. The solution would be to ignore her, but these platforms have made that impossible. I feel personally called out for this because I am not ignoring her in this segment. But I think we're making a good point based off of it. You deteriorate the belief in critical thinking to advance a political movement that has repercussions that are monumentally bad. Let me know what you thought of that in the comments. And if you think the earth is flat, you can reach out to the show at your garbage can. Oh, don't tell me your flat earth theories. But if you do want to reach out to the show, you can go to the lukebeasleyshow.com, contact form, fill that out. We read those. Plus, if you want to support the work we do, you can do so by clicking the join button below.